We're doing it.
All right, guys, we are live. My name is Dr. Sharnael Wolverton Sihon. This is going to be a fun one. I think it's very timely. Marissa and I were just talking about the time of all of this, but I hope you guys will enjoy. We're going to talk a little about the subject of making America healthy again. I think it's very, very important. Lots of different ways we can go with this one. But yes, but I want to introduce Craig is of course with us here again, and the great Laura Eisenhower, of course, which I'm really excited about doing the retreat with you in a few days. And then Marissa, we love you so much. I'm glad you could join us today.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I love you guys so much.
All right.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Always good to be here. Just plug it in.
I think I'm in a different location. I know Craig's in a different location. We're all just kind of flying at the seat of our pants here. I didn't know if I was going to have to sit in the car to do this, but what comes to mind when you guys think about making America great besides Robert Kennedy?
President 45. Right, let's go.
Who wants to start?
Go ahead.
Marissa, exactly. Sorry, I remember rightly. It was always you actually came up with the title to talk about Make America.
All right. So you know what it makes? Well, first of all, Make America Healthy Again. When was the last time we were actually healthy? We've seen those pictures of people on the beach in the 60s, and everybody was healthy and thin and tan. And now we see pictures of people at the beach, and they look like, I'm sorry to say this, I'm not fat shaming, but I'm just stating a fact. A lot of people look like beach whales. And you know what? It's like, and I think back to like magazine covers where they were putting people on covers that were grossly overweight and normalizing that. And I think that was trying to make us unhealthy. I think that was the cabal saying it's okay for you to look this way because we don't want you to be healthy. We don't want you to be strong. And we want a weak humanity so we can control you. So for me, Make America Healthy Again is, I think, the most important initiative in the world at this point in time.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more, Marissa, because I think, again, you hit the nail on the head, because it's the fact that this has been done systematically and intentionally. Chemicals in the foods, the poor quality and poor standards of foods. And then when people get sick, then the healthcare makes them worse. And people's systems are battered. And I think there's a lot of people out there who really try hard to be healthy, to lose weight. And it's like their body works against them because they're not, they're so full of the chemicals and they're not aware of it. You know, the establishment tells them this is healthy, you can eat that, when it's full of crap. And people are really like feel bad about themselves. You know, it not only affects them physically, but emotionally, mentally as well. We make them less effective, like you say, make them weaker. And they want a sick, poor, dependent civilization. And that's the agenda to make America healthy again is so refreshing. I mean, RFK Jr. is a just what a guy he is. I mean, he's functioning not on the usual political level, you know, as far as I'm concerned. He's not interested in the tit for tat battling. That's Trump, 45's realm.
Right.
Yeah, we have to watch what we say on this one, don't we? Because it could trigger some YouTube things. But yeah, you know, he's just basically stating facts, and he's on the ball, and they're calling him conspiracy theorist and all that kind of nonsense. But he doesn't care. He's had this on him with regards to the things that go in the arm for decades. He's been on this campaign, and now he's in a position where he can actually do something about it, and he's got the support of one of the most powerful men in the political system. So I'm excited, and I really hope this pans out. I really do. This plan to make, you know, people healthy again, get rid of the crap out of the food and back to organic foods. And, you know, how much land have you got in America that you can grow these things, you know? It's mad.
Yeah, I think too, I thought when this whole thing started, having the two of them pair up, you know, one pres and one VP would be like an amazing ticket, but I didn't think that either one of them would take a back seat to VP. So to see Robert step down from running from president to not even get VP, but just to do this because it was on his conscience to make the most of his, he literally said it on the record several times that the reason why he was doing it is because of the age that he was. If he didn't do something now, then he didn't know how many years he had left to actually do something with the country to help, be effective and bringing to light a lot of these things, not to mention maybe getting the CIA documents released if and when this can, that would be freaking amazing. Who knows what would happen with that. But we have 118 people in a parasite cleanse that we're starting today. Mm-hmm. And as a group, we are all doing this together. And I have so much satisfaction in knowing that I'm able to help at least 118 people, over the next 21 days to get rid of parasites, which we know if we get rid of physical parasites in the body, that also takes away the energy of the parasite energy. So those people won't have the victim things going on energetically with that, because it does go hand in hand, not to mention all the nutrients that have been escaped and all of even vitamins. You could take supplements and what have you, but if you have parasites, they're taking all that too. So you're paying a bunch of money for food. You're paying a bunch of money for, maybe good quality organic food and taking all these supplements. But if you have parasites, they're just as bad as the other kind of political parasites and all the other things going on out there. Did you guys watch last night? I know it's off topic.
What's that? Watch what?
Harris's interview.
I saw part of it. Oh, she's a train wreck. Oh my God. Oh, yeah. She's so evil. She basically said everything that was done to Trump he was doing to the Democrats. I mean,
they asked her like a million times, what about the border situation? And she said, well, Trump was running for president during that time. And he was like, I'm sorry, you were the one in power. You were the one who was, and she was like, yeah, but Trump was running. And I think you and I both know what we're talking about. And that guy was like, actually, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It was so bizarre. Go watch it if you can. It was, although they'll probably edit it, because I saw another channel literally had almost like a transcript supposed of the interview, and I watched the interview, and what they said she didn't say. They changed up her answers completely in writing. They didn't do clips. They actually just did writing, and I was like, she didn't say that. I can go back and watch it. She didn't say that. Oh my gosh. So insane how they just doctor everything.
Yeah.
Doctor. Or what do you think?
Yeah, gosh. I feel like all those empowering phrases, the leadership that is saying them, that's very hopeful. But I really feel just like trust the plan, make America healthy again, is something that we take upon ourselves. Like the whole inverted matrix and system is vampiric and parasitic. And the dependency bond that humans have formed with that through, the medical industry, pharmaceuticals, and problem reaction solution, and the tainting of our food, everything you guys mentioned, it just further entangles a person in, this parasitic bond that requires a host, that steals creative energy, that manipulates people out of their dreams and creates, engineered events and trigger events in order to, keep a person in a state of panic and survival and disconnect from intuition and higher guidance. So I feel when we break that dependency bond, it's very natural for us to know how to regenerate and heal. There's alchemical laws in creation that help us to transmute and transcend and listen to our bodies and what it needs, instead of give that power to somebody else to tell us what it needs. And I feel these are just really empowering statements. And if we're in a world that has leadership that supports our empowerment and our sovereignty and our medical freedom and our freedom of thought, and, just our connection with Mother Earth, having that more available, in the mainstream instead of pharmaceutical commercials, you know, it'll help to rewire brains and deprogram people and help them to just be like, wow, okay, this is actually really supportive. And I find a lot of Facebook ads like have really incredible herbal concoctions and, you know, breakthrough liposomal supplements with Chinese herbs, and, you know, people that have really taken it upon themselves to independently make it on their own, you know, and discover these things. Maybe they have past life recall. Maybe, you know, they just ventured off and went to some sort of herbal school, like you're a naturopathic doctor, Dr. Sharnael. And, you know, just the things that you're not encouraged to do in the system. A lot of us have stepped away and said, wait a second, what about this? What about that? So the mainstream needs a breakthrough so that it's not streaming through these commercials, fast food, you know, indoctrination, how that infects the minds of our children in the school systems. And it's like, to be healthy again is to be free of all that. And any kind of leadership that supports that helps us to rise up as leaders within ourselves so that we can lead by example. And I feel that it's a co-creation and a unified front instead of, you know, the government system that like we're just followers and we're like lowly and, you know, we answer to this outer authority. And I feel that if we take it in our own hands and are inspired by those kind of words, you know, we can take what resonates and rise in where we're being called to action and we're being called to take a stand in our own lives and in our communities. Because I think the government structure has always been like waiting on disclosure, waiting on something outside of us, waiting for the solutions. And we are the solution. And I feel this kind of leadership has not been a part of the agenda, the dark agendas. And it's really, you know, holding space for, you know, us to, you know, experience this organic activation and take it back into our hands, because us connected to our sovereignty and truth is the healthiest thing for our body. And in doing parasite cleanses and everything like that, and recognizing where we're still hooked in, releasing ourselves from that does call back that creative power to generate and co-create with the organic ascension timeline versus the engineered artificial timelines that require our energy to even exist. So I feel taking our health back is in alignment with cosmic and natural laws, the planetary system that knows how to heal itself, our DNA that's awakening through these activations and growth periods that the planetary alignments offer. And that if we can free ourselves of the deceptions and the hijacking of these growth periods and initiations through shutting down, you know, our consumption of everything external, we will know and within our beings and our own personal guidance, what we need to do to heal ourselves with leadership that supports that instead of leverages our amnesia and and our vulnerabilities that, you know, where people fear the symptoms and they just want somebody else to cure it and solve it instead of recognize this is an opportunity to get to know yourself. And it's just amazing the capacity of the human vessel to heal and regenerate when we breathe through those uncomfortable moments instead of panic and take something to nullify it, to mask it, which keeps us looping in an addiction bond with parasites. So I'm feeling very encouraged about the, you know, leadership presenting itself, but no matter what, it doesn't need the platform of the elections and DC. We can do this all on our own, no matter what happens. We have the strength of one another, and that leadership that I feel is going to still stand regardless of how this all plays out, because it's really about us, the people, that maybe can't drain the swamp, but maybe need to starve the swamp to be healthy.
Yep. Yeah. I put a post out this week, and some people agreed, some didn't, and that's fine. The ones that didn't were obviously wrong. But no, I just said that ultimately it doesn't at this stage. I don't think it actually matters who wins this next election because of what you were just talking about, Laura. This isn't about somebody coming into a political position and sorting all our problems out. That is not what this is about. This is about the way I see it is that the purpose of, we say Trump, I don't know if it's going to be triggered, and certainly what he's doing now is he's had to step into the political arena to put a stop on the agendas that they were going to fold out onto us, it was going to be horrendous. He's been a blockade in their way, giving us a chance to step up and take our power and do exactly what you just said, Laura. And I think personally that there's a scale. We're past the tipping point now. I think enough people are aware of what's going on and are ready to make those positive choices, even if by some bizarre, world event, Trump didn't win, or Kamala got in. I actually think, all right, it'd be easier if he did. Let's put it that way. But if he didn't, the people are still waking up, and the people are still getting activated. And that's what's important. Yes, I want Trump to win, obviously, because I think it will make life a lot easier.
I think I agree that we're waking up, and a lot of people are waking up, but I am very nervous if we don't get in. I'm very nervous about the direction of the company, of the country, just because, which is company.
Yeah.
But war, and like, I was just talking to some friends that are here from Miami, and they were showing me different things about all of these businesses and countries where there are war, where they're setting up McDonald's and Burger Kings and whatever for all the army people and all the Americans going over. It's like, let's start the war so we can protect all the drugs, and then also get all of these businesses over there there's so much money in war. There's so much money in, it's the same thing with the insurance companies and the medical companies and all of that. It's like, let's create a war of this. So not only do we get a bunch of people to check out, but literally there's still Michael Jacksoning people. Like, my dad was just in the hospital for 8 days. When he came out on the gurney, just having an 8-hour surgery, he's completely unconscious, and they ask him, while I'm standing there, "Excuse me, sir, do you want your and your other," while he's unconscious. I had a few words with them, by the way, and several times by mistakes we almost lost him. 2 times this time, and 2 times in April, and it wasn't because of anything else except for just dumbass mistakes. They gave him too much morphine and fentanyl, to the point where I was pounding on his chest saying, "Daddy, stay with me," and calling the nurses, who would not come because we couldn't find anybody for hours on the thing. And when she finally did come in, they decided, oh yeah, we should probably reverse that because we did too much. It's like, what? But when we went through the drive-through at home picking up his meds, we went through the drive-through, and at Walgreens, they literally said through the window, "Did we want our thing and our other thing?" Like, I've never had them ask me that in my life through the drive-through. And I'm like, and I was so triggered. I was so pissed. I said, "Wow, you guys are working so freaking overtime to make sure all of us are dead." And the lady was like, "I'm sorry, what did you say?" And I said, repeated myself. And she said, "To make sure we're what?" And I said, "Dead." And she just kind of laughed at me. But I know pharmacists who had to sit through a Texas 30-hour training, which they go yearly to keep all their stuff. And 28 hours of those 30 hours, the last 2 years, were how to talk people in to get this, because they get money for each one, and then they get money for their pharmacy per week if they make some sort of quota. It's ridiculous how much money they're making.
So I agree with you 100%. My father was a pharmacist. He passed away, it'll be 3 years ago. And he also had a doctorate in nutrition. In the 70s, he had a pharmacy health food store, and he was writing articles about how you could heal yourself through vitamins, supplements, and food, right? And not take medications. Well, all the doctors in my hometown of Scotch Plains, New Jersey, boycotted my father. And yeah, this was in 1975. So my dad was like the anti-drugs druggist, which is totally awesome. That's an aside. I really think, first, 2 things. There is a push to kill the elderly because the government does not want to pay for them. So that's one of the reasons why they were forcing this on them, right? So I take my mother, who's 87, to the doctor, and he always asks her, and I said to him point blank, do not ever ask that question again, because
that's what I said too.
You do,
put it on the record, put it in the chart,
and you never see us again. Concierge doctor. So that's despicable. And you know what? They should, as far as I'm concerned, any doctor who pushes that should lose their license. And I think that would be another way to make America healthy again. Thank you very much. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, what Laura was saying about the organic timeline versus the inorganic timeline, that to me is the big issue, the big issue, because that's the transhuman agenda. That is, okay, if we go on if we put fake in our bodies and the AI, and if we connect with that and lose our humanity, I mean, it is game over for us. So I think what Laura was saying, what everybody here is saying, is to take responsibility for yourselves and put the right organic foods in your body. Make sure you're healthy. Drink water that doesn't have fluoride. I mean, we all know what we need to do. Get rid of toxins. Sharnael, your parasite cleanse is amazing. I might jump on it because I did buy the supplements, and you're doing it on the full moon tonight. So that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
So I really think this conversation right now is critical, because this is the climactic moment of humanity, this moment right now. And which way will we go? Are we going to stay human, or are we going to turn into bots? I mean, we really have to do what we can to preserve humanity and our health. And because otherwise, you know, it's all about, I mean, we all talk about this. It's all about staying aligned with consciousness and not submitting to the negative alien agenda. So I am hopeful, because I look at Food Babe's post on Instagram, and now I see that she's getting traction. She's attacking Kellogg's, which is amazing. And people who I know submitted to the agenda are now like seeing what's going on. And I do see people begin to wake up. So that is encouraging to me. I do think, though, that, you know, if 45 becomes 47, it makes our lives a hell of a lot easier. And it would be great to have Bobby working along with him, because I think his voice is incredible, and the things he says, not just about health, but about like connecting, like there's God in every living thing. I mean, the guy is just incredible. So he says the most beautiful, beautiful things.
His scalar waves are 900.
How do you know that?
900. Like, so 1,000 is Jesus, you guys. Like, I hardly ever find anyone even at 200. So Trump's at 450, Elon's at 450, Love is 500, Putin's at 450. But like Joan of Arc is 700.
Okay.
I've never tested anyone alive 900. He's 900 scalar waves. He is pure hearted. What do you think, Laura?
Well, I can't argue with whatever your results are. Yeah, and I mean, it's got to fluctuate. You know, people have, you know, like they're really exalted in aligned moments, and sometimes we drop back down. I mean, I'm sure that's kind of how it works. And if he consistently holds that, the fact that he can even reach that, that's a really good sign. You know, I really feel that the everything that, you know, everybody's saying, but absolutely the most important thing is to recognize that we're elemental beings, you know, and we can de-weaponize the weapon. We're being weaponized to stay in a fragmented place with each other, with the divide and conquer. And I feel that it's such a massive tactic to keep like archonic and dark forces really like in control. And they're not in control in as far as the larger picture. But as long as, you know, we're allowing ourselves to drop into a vibration that's below love, in fear, in anger, in hatred, or any lower, you know, kind of energies that isn't connecting with unconditional love and forgiveness and accountability for those moments, to look at the wounds, to look at the traumas, to dig deeper into our galactic history, to have an open mind, but also to have discernment with, you know, the kind of information that a lot of people are putting out there. You know, the mutual love and respect and coming together and blending our differences in a harmonious way is really critical. And it's very sad to see, you know, the funded movements and the targeting of well-intentioned, you know, people, to encourage them to have sort of a victim confidence in what they're standing for, but they're fighting more for who's the biggest victim. And the punishment reward kind of game of, if you think this way, you're accepted, and if you don't, you're blocked, and just all this acceptance of censorship and the loss of freedom of speech, and how people are making excuses for this and celebrating some of the destruction and the warfare on a spiritual level without understanding, what really took place after the Second World War, and the infiltration that's infected all the different power structures of society. And those pillars of society are something that we interact with constantly. And with such an emphasis on Chiron and, Pluto squaring Chiron, it's a very strong intensification of toxicity and close to death experiences and a lot of casualties. And this is the breaking point to begin to see this as an opportunity for transformation and growth, and being less compartmentalized and more open to the multidimensional nature of all that we are. And, higher spiritual virtues connected to compassion, forgiveness, and unification. This is why, I like what Marisa says, this is like a critical breaking point. And the more you stay in this inversion, the more toxic and the more harmful it gets, to the point where, yes, you lose the human connection with the soul matrix and the ascension timeline. And you either will perish, or you'll be like an automation. You won't even, really, know your thoughts anymore. You'll be in this sort of hive mind, like further enslavement. So it's a very, very critical time. And I think, when we see these weather events and we recognize that we're elemental and our intention can steer these things and break them down, it's really our frequency of coming together and having a collective intent that we can all focus in on, because we're earth, air, fire, water, ether. And the more we see this control outside of us, the more it reflects the level of control that's upon the consciousness of humanity. And if we can, nip it in the bud and like see these things coming and act upon it before it's, destructive and disastrous, we will be, less enablers of a future that we don't want. And it's a hard thing to be accountable to, but we can't just accept what we see and take that as reality. We have to see that we've lost our power. It's been stolen from us. They're not the powers that be. They're the powers that stole. And that's our energy.
I love that.
Yeah, it's our energy to call back to direct the elementals in a way that takes care of us and nurtures us, because that's what Mother Earth wants to do, is take care of her babies.
That was badass, dude.
That was awesome.
I just love you so much. Oh my God. I
love you too.
I love you guys.
I love all of you.
Dude, the powers that stole. Jesus, you're right, and like, oh God. So go ahead, Craig. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that they have, that's a brilliant way to put it. Like, they have no power themselves. The only power they have is what they've stolen from us collectively.
What they manufacture, like even with the weather shit, like they just did all this stuff. Like Laura was talking about keeping us in fear and like, constant weather stuff, constant war shit, constant psyops, all these riots, like everything is manufactured. Like the average person who lives next door, they're pretty nice. Like I'm not seeing racism and all of this kind of stuff where I am. Like it's ridiculous, but they're trying to like perpetuate something false.
Exactly. And when I said that, when I came over to the States, I was expecting to see at least 2 shoot-ups or something. And I didn't see a single one, because the image that we have is that everyone's shooting each other over there, or there's chaos everywhere. And it's just not true. Like, everyone was just amazing. Like, so lovely and kind, not just to people at the conference or whatever, but like just in general, like I joked about it, like here in the UK, where you're always on the verge of a fight with someone, but over there, it was like so relaxed, so peaceful. Everybody it was just a really good atmosphere where I was. And yeah, it's like this illusion they're trying to create. And it really is like the Wizard of Oz at this stage. Like the curtain's being pulled back and we're seeing for what they own. It's like, is that it? Is that all you are? It's pathetic. You know what I mean? Like, we're the ones that have the power. We're the ones that have surrendered our sovereign power.
It's interesting to me too. I agree that we're seeing now what's happening with Diddy, right? And then Victoria's Secret's just had a fashion show, which is like completely creepy after everything that happened with Jeffrey Epstein and Lex Wexner. So,
wait, what did they do that was creepy? I missed it.
The fact that they actually had a fashion show after everything that happened with Jeffrey Epstein, and the guy that owns Victoria's Secret, Lex Wexner, was the guy who like gave Jeffrey Epstein his townhouse in New York City. He was his partner and basically controlled him. I mean, the fact that that was allowed to go on, it was on Vogue's Instagram. I mean, it's like there is a very clear division of like good versus evil at this point. And it seems that I do see more people waking up to this, but it's still like we're like right at the brink. I feel it's like when I don't feel like we've reached the tipping point just yet, but I feel like we're getting there. And it's also interesting to me to see the hysterics of the deep state. Did you guys see Obama's speech?
Yes.
How crazy was he? He was like he was like a little bitch, you know. He was totally hysterical. A half black man telling black men how to vote for like a woman who, you know, is she really black? I mean, give me a break. It was like the last grasp of power before, you know, all shit breaks loose, basically. So I definitely think that we're almost, I mean, I feel like we're right there. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next few weeks. I mean, we're talking about make America healthy again, but what I'm wondering about after the election, if we don't get the actual results like we didn't last time, like what's going to happen to the country? I am wondering if there's going to be a global psychotic breakdown. Like that's the other thing I was, you know, wondering about. Like, what do you think will happen? I do think there's going to be some major loosh stolen from the powers that stole on either end. I just wonder, you know, but that's a big issue right there.
It's scary, and it's scary how much, you know, going back to the manufacturing, you know, just watching that interview last night, and then I was like screaming because I was so excited because I'm like, yay, finally they're asking the questions that she refused to answer, and she's being pressed, and she just looks like an idiot. And but then immediately when I got off, you know, watching it, I went to go look to see what the other channels were doing it, and I saw that they completely changed it or edited it weird or put, you know, copy paste whatever, or just completely manufactured false things that she didn't say. But this is how they use media, right? This is why the Epstein Diddy thing is such a thing, because they have power over these entertainers, because they have so much on all these guys. Whether it was Epstein with the political stuff or Diddy with all the entertainers and the music and the actors and the actresses, because I had a dream, I sound like weird, 2010, and I just saw a big ship, and the oar of the big huge ship that turned everything was media on one side and Washington on the other. And I just knew, I was like, well, this is what's steering everything. Is they're just completely, if you haven't seen Sean Ryan's interview with Nick Bryant, he exposes all this stuff between the parallels between Diddy and Epstein. I just listened to it last night, and it is like he has got the receipts. I mean, it is like a 2-hour thing, but it's all about controlling, you know, setting all these people up so they can have power in Washington, setting people up so they can control LA and Hollywood, because they cannot create their own shit. No one will listen to their voices because you can't even listen to them without like cringing. So they have to use all these other powerful things because they're all at like 25 and 50 scalar waves. So they got to use the airwaves and everything else with this like acting, almost Parks and Recs, you know, Amy, if you've ever watched Parks and Recs, to the T, that's what Kamala looks like when she's doing shit. It's completely fake.
That's a great analogy. It's true.
Anyway, sorry, I get mad. I was so mad. I'm still mad. Like, I just want justice. I want truth. The truth is enough. Like, why not just be honest?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and they keep trying to assassinate, you know, well, whatever. I think we need to uphold the vision.
Yes. Hold the vision.
Yeah.
Stay in that. It already happened. I'm gonna breathe.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Again, like you say, what we need to watch our own energy in this. I mean, I remember the last time I was angry because it was so obvious that the result just wasn't correct, even if it was close. It was obvious that there was manipulations and things like that, and it makes you so angry. But we've got to remember to not let that control our energy. As hard as that is at times. I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not saying I'm going to be perfect at that.
Yeah.
But hold your own focus and energy. I think in this, and regardless of what happens, like we were saying before. We're the ones that hold the power, and I think the more they do, there's a pattern happening. The more they do, the more revealed they are. So even if it did go the wrong way, which I'm praying it doesn't.
How can it possibly, honestly?
Well, exactly. I think they highlighted so much of the fraud and things last time. They're not even bothered with that this time because everyone's going to be like zooming in, like watching, the ballot boxes and all that kind of thing, And I just think they've run out of tactics. I mean, it infuriates me when I hear them saying, "Oh well, if Trump wins, then he's going to use the DOJ to jail everyone." Do you mean like you did to him? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
the gaslighting is ridiculous.
What is that
reason to do it though?
That's why they say it, because they're doing it and they want to put that on. Isn't that the Saul Lewinsky tactic?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Project onto those what you intend to do yourself. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just, again, it's like this global narcissism that we're dealing with. It's like you have to be this personality to get anywhere in politics or government, and that's the system that has to change. Okay, we could win this election, but then what? We need to look at the long game here. We've got we talk about ascension, we talk about spirituality and things like that. That literally means that we put an end to this false reality, this that's created on narcissistic control structures. Like the whole structure has got to go, and we've got to create the new structures, new government, new education, new health.
Everything.
Everything's got to change, and I believe that's what we're here for. The very fact that we're having this conversation is because this is going to happen. It's just the powers that were, or the powers that stole, which is a new favourite of mine. It's that they're fighting for survival now, and they're getting desperate, and it's getting increasingly obvious. I mean, like you said about Obama, he was visibly shaken. He was visibly not okay, and he's not like that. He's suave, he's cool, he's like, he's just brilliant at talking. He wasn't like that the other night.
I know, he's a little bitch having a meltdown.
Exactly.
I gotta see this.
Wow. She went crazy last night. She got mad. I know Laura's got to go. Do you have?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you could watch the thing last night. She went absolute. She's never had anybody push her, and the 60 Minutes one. At one point, he kind of pushed back, and she says to him, it's not our policy and our administration to promote the problems, but to promote the solutions. In other words, she was threatening him, like, stop asking those questions because that's not what we do in our administration. We don't point out this shit. She did it again last night and went absolutely nuts. And Brett said that he had 4 people pounding on him to like stop the interviews the whole time he was doing it. It was supposed to start at 5. She didn't show up till 5:15. They were giving her 30 minutes. So she thought, they would go till the top of the arrow. She wanted to do a 15-minute like she did at the border. And I'm like, really? Anyway, any final words, Laura? I know you got to jump off.
Well, it's been amazing having this great conversation and being with you guys all together again. Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, when you mentioned like the narcissism, and when we look at the negative ego, when we look at the polarization and duality and divide and conquer, we're in relationship with creation. That is our ultimate partner. The growth periods, the cosmic and natural laws, our connection to animals and herbs and plants and all the elements that are the inner soul that we hold and carry, that has an affinity to these medicines and this connection and this relationship. And it is medicine because that's the true union. that we have that is supporting us and helping us to grow and thrive as it's healing its own planetary system from cataclysms and a very destructive galactic history that has stepped down into this physical form. And so anybody that's in an abusive relationship that has lost its self-worth to its partner, the abuse only gets worse, you know, and these red flags are now bonfires, which I redundantly say. And it's like, you can't really deny it anymore. The abusive tactics that are assaulting, you know, our children and assaulting, you know, our free minds and our ability to really, you know, be in connection with this is like really being with a partner that doesn't care about you, that's an energy vampire, and that is playing on your self-worth to the point where you're allowing yourself to want validation and seek, you know, a solution from the abuser, from the predator, which is being heavily defended. We see humans defending their captor and making excuses. So, you know, now it's a breaking point of, are you going to divorce this false parent and this false partner and really experience the true love of creation? And in doing that, you're going to experience the true love of the union of the masculine and feminine within yourself. You're going to attract soul family. You're going to see the magic and miracles and synchronicities that are a part of the alchemical laws of creation really reveal themselves to you. So it's a choice that we have in every moment. And we can self-correct, forgive ourselves, forgive each other, and really, you know, recognize we're healing something tremendous. And on the other side of it, you know, the pain is purpose and it's wisdom and it's love and it's union. And it's time for all of us to embrace this. And thank you for holding the space for so long for this to just be known in the hearts of humanity. And that I love just working with you guys. So I'll just leave it on that note.
Awesome. 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 Well, we are glad that you got to be with us. I know you got to jump off. I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to add, Marisa, Craig.
I think that, bye, Laura.
Bye, Laura. Love you.
I think that, again, it comes down to us taking responsibility for ourselves and establishing a connection, a higher connection with source, and recognizing our own power and connecting with that, as opposed to giving the authority to the powers that stole. And also, I just wanted to, there's something else too. I was reading, talking about making America healthy again. Like, the biggest drug on the planet right now is the one that everybody's taking to lose weight. Oh, and now, have you guys seen what's going on with that? I mean, we knew this all along because of what Dr. Brian Ardis was saying about how it was venom and how it was making people sick and had all these side effects. Well, now it's beginning to come out, and they're saying now that one of the reasons they put that out there is to make people unhealthy again. So I just think the more we look for alternative solutions to big pharma, go the natural way with essential oils, exercise, do all the basics. Make sure you have the right nutrients, eat organically, drink clean water. Just try and keep everything as clean as possible and eliminate everything toxic in your life, including toxic news and toxic people. I think the better off we'll be. And I think Make America Healthy Again starts with Americans making themselves healthy again.
Yeah. Growing our own food, you know, having preparations for, you know, medical stuff in the house. Like, we have ozone generators and we have oils and we have supplements. I know both of you guys do all that. And,
yeah,
you know, food preps and gardens and, you know, all the things. But this ground, you know, sowing into this. Mm-hmm. And for me, just like Craig was mentioning, yeah, it's like, if which we are here to love, and that is our sole purpose. And, you know, my mentor, Craig's familiar with Bob Jones, who had a near-death experience. And when he went over, he's died twice. And first time they asked him, well, both times they asked him, did you learn to love? That was the question when he went wherever he went. And it's like, if that's our real thing, part of this whole journey is no matter what's going on, just like Craig was saying, our ability to manage our peace and to manage our own thoughts and to manage our friendships, our relationships, our, you know, being responsible, even mentally and emotionally, and
I like that.
you know, for sure physically. And I'm not the best at it, I'll tell you that, especially counting this down days, you know, watching. I don't even normally watch the news, but because of the situation, I am looking at different things and looking at angles and watching podcasts. And I prefer podcasts over news because most of them aren't censored and you can actually get some real thing, you know, the real stuff saying without everything being taken down and what have you. And we said this during that time over and over, that this was the new way people were going to get information, because we all know that it's just propaganda. I mean, China won't watch their shows because they know it's propaganda, and they won't watch our stuff because, number one, in some places it's illegal, but they know that this is all propaganda too. We haven't figured that out yet. Like you and I, all of us, a lot of us have, thank you, like you mentioned, Craig, a lot of us have woken up to the fact that they're just splitting and cutting, and it's a production, literally. Even most of the movies are funded by the freaking three letters.
Right,
you know?
right. It's all Mockingbird.
Yes.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I don't even watch movies anymore, honestly.
yeah. So
Yeah.
us doing these kind of things, and or the other podcasts that are out there, you know, I'm not going to drop names because I don't know if that'll take me off, but yeah, that's where we can get the actual real life information. I mean, there is misinformation there too, no joke, but thank God there are some levels. And I'm just praying for Elon, whether you like him or not. If this doesn't happen, I don't know if they're going to go after him like Snowden or some of these others that they've you know offed for protecting free speech.
Yeah.
But anyway, I know you guys got to get off too. I'm going to say this last thing, and then I want Craig to tell him about his channel and everything. If you did not start today with the parasite cleanse, we're going to do one more this year. We probably won't do another one until fall next year, but you guys can join us. It's November 15th. So you do have to order the product. It's free to get in, but you do have to order the product. And if you have it now, just send me a message, because today is the last day to get in. Like, today's the first day to start, but you have to start today. So Marisa, you can still get in on that. But
Okay.
but you could guys find me at drsharnael.com. I'm on all the Instagram stuff, Facebook, TikTok, blah, blah, blah. I do remote scans. You can find my books, my workshops, like all of that. And definitely like this, share this. Please help us out with the algorithm. And we do have a member meeting on Sunday. Craig, I don't know if you remember that, but we have our member meeting with, what's the dude, Metaphysical Bible guy?
I know him. Yeah, I know what you mean. Sorry, yeah.
He's going to talk about karma, the
Yeah.
science of it,
Ooh.
Yeah. But
Stephen Heffield.
yeah.
Stephen
yes.
Heffield.
Thank you. Yes. So you guys who are members, thank you for supporting us. And our thing is 12 o'clock on Sunday, so you don't want to miss that. And if you're not a member, you can join us. It's only $4.99, and you can do it 1 month, 2 months, 10 months, 0 months, just do it, whatever. But that's available. Craig, any final words, and how can we find you?
Final words. No. Yeah. So I mean, I'm on all the socials as usual. Yeah, you mentioned about my channel. You know, what's really weird is recently there's been a huge influx onto the channel, and I've not done a video for a while. So I do these ethereal soundscapes for meditation, background music, however you choose to use them. But I use frequencies in there. Always tuned to 432. I'll put tones in there and things like that. Basically, things I enjoy listening to. And I like these big sort of emotional soundscapes, the repetitive. By design, and yeah, so it's called Craig W. Ascension Meditation. Go and like and subscribe, listen to those. Yeah, like I say, I keep getting loads of hits recently, which is really cool, and I've not done anything on it for a while. Life has been a bit mental over the past several months, but I'm settling down a bit now. I think what else there is. I can't think of anything else to say. I've done the tour this summer now. That's over and done with. Back to recording mode. But yeah, I like talking to people. Anybody wants to connect, hit me up on Facebook. I don't really do any other, to be honest with you. I'm on Twitter as well, but that's just to see what Elon Musk's up to.
Marcel, where can we find you? I know you're on Facebook.
I'm on Facebook, Marisa Acsocella. I'm on Instagram, and I just went on X, and I have a YouTube channel, Marisa Acsocella, and you can find me there. I started a Substack, but I haven't really done much with it, but I will. And I'm just really grateful to be on your show and to talk with both of you. Thank you so much for having me on. It's always a great conversation, and I always feel so much better and hopeful afterwards, because you know what?
We have to stay connected with each other for sure.
We have to stay connected. The world can be a very dark place, and we just have to remember to keep the light on and engage and stay connected with other like-minded people like you guys. I love you both. Thank you so much.
Love you guys. Love you so much, and love everybody watching. Thank you so much. If you guys could get this out and help us, and if you want to join us on Sunday, noon Central Time, we have our member meeting, and I just so much appreciate you guys who are members that help us. Every little bit counts to keep us to be able to come out with this content and just have the time for production of all of this. So you guys have a wonderful week. Stay in the know, and appreciate you guys very, very much. Love you, and see some of you on Sunday. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.